Well, a very good afternoon to each and everyone. Welcome to today's Showbiz Scandal. Last night we were invited to the Lowry to watch Andante, a beautiful new dance piece which totally submerges you in the actual show. It's an experience that I recommend for everybody to come and watch. We're going to be speaking to the dancers very, very shortly to find out exactly what it's all about and what the message is, everybody, what the message is. So stick around and welcome to today's Showbiz Scandal. Shabba! So here we are. Like I said, last night we were watching a lovely show here at the Lowry, and it was a different show to what I'm used to because it's a totally submergent, as I called it, experience. What's the idea behind the show?
So the show is called Andante, which is an Italian word that means to go. So the choreography is based on the action of walking, and where we started from was the curiosity about what would happen if we would fill the theater with smoke and let things emerge and disappear in the smoke, and also create an opportunity for different senses to be involved for the viewers. So not only what you see, but once the sight is reduced, what you hear, what you smell.
It's nice, it's a good show. When you were walking on, you use the popper side. What was the idea behind that, just to get everybody's attention?
Well, like how it worked, well, partly I guess. It's like, no, like it did like encapsulate in a very simple way all the many different senses. There's something about the sound, they smell, I don't know if it got to you last night, but they smell as they pop.
Also, they smell as they pop, do they?
And he said it's a sound that we don't really recognize throughout the show later as well, but it's like it creates like a beginning and after, and it brings attention to our walking in a very simple way. And like that entrance is framed by the throwbangers, and then like visually kind of like frames it.
There's some lovely accents from the pair of you. Where are you both from?
I'm from the Basque Country. So.
Oh, nice. Lovely.
I'm from Sardinia in Italy.
Oh, I've been there. It's nice. It's got a lovely church. It has, though. It's got a lovely church. I was on a cruise ship. We just stopped there. So the smoke that immerses you as you're watching it, how do you see what you're doing, first of all?
Well, that's a very good question. Rehearsals. At points we lose also the sense of space a little bit ourselves, but it's part of the point as well. Like what starts happening when we cannot guide ourselves with the sight.
Because I was going to say, for us sat in the audience, we get covered in smoke, but it must be a nightmare for you when you know specifically where you need to be.
I got totally lost, yeah. So there was a moment in which I didn't know where front was. Really? But that's also, I mean, we are working a lot with the connection between the four of us as a group. So there are moments in which what we use to orient ourselves is very much each other rather than the space surrounding.
And how long did it take to get this piece together?
So we did 3 years ago. We did a month of research, and then in the meantime we did.
And what did the research entail? How did you research?
We actually started from getting into a theatre, filling it with smoke, playing with different kinds of images created physically, different movements, and starting to understand how technically the show could work, because smoke is very difficult to control. So a lot of the research has gone into understanding the technicality of it. And then this year, I think in January or February, we started again. February, and we had different residencies, so 1-2 week periods and gaps in between.
And for me, watching the piece, it seems to be split in 3 sections of dance. Is that correct?
We think more about 2, right? But I'm very curious.
Okay. So you've got the first bit where you're kind of all milling about, as I call it. It's a Wigan term for walking. Nice. That's what your next show will be called, milling about. And then you've got the middle bit where we're covered in the smoke. And then for the final portion of the show, it feels like it's very sort of dancing.
Yes. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
See, I've just written a new show for you there, haven't I? No, I'm good, thank you. It's okay, use it.
We will.
And thank you. Hey, I finally got a credit somewhere, that's good. So when you do the faster section at the end, as I call it, the music and the sounds, because it's not really music, it's more of sounds. You kind of get totally into it, don't you?
Yeah. So we had this curiosity about how we could establish in the beginning of the show a pretty direct connection between us as performers and the audience, and then gradually through the smoke, this connection is gradually lost. So I guess we wanted to connect with a feeling of losing yourself, losing somebody, proximity and distance. So yeah, we imagine that we hope that the show can connect in a pretty instinctive, primal way rather than being
it's almost hypnotic is what it is.
Yeah,
it is. It's very good. Now the smells that you've got throughout the show, again, I took 3 smells.
Yes.
What are the smells?
They've been developed with with a perfumer. One of them is called Terra, as in earth,
Right.
and we were talking with Alessandro very much about the idea of how about earthy smell, something that we connect more with. The other one is more like the idea of air and sea, that it comes later on. That is more abstract, is less, is more removed from our daily experience. It's less physical, it's a bit more aerial. And there's one that is called Animalex.
All right.
I don't know if you noticed, there's one a bit more challenging towards the end. That is, we wanted to talk a little bit like once we're gone. It's a smell that comes as we leave. That we hope it kind of recalls a little bit that humanity. But we had a lot of fun with that one. It's just the idea of like caged animals a little bit, or
I like that.
free, like the idea of like freeing caged animals, but not in a beautiful way. Quite something we were interested in with the smell, or including it in the choreography, is that it recalls. The sense of the smell recalls a lot of memories. Is less of a. It's a sense that activates our perception in a very different way. Like
That's what's unusual about the show, because you're not just watching a dance piece, an immersive piece. You're actually totally involved as an audience in it, aren't you? Because you've got the smoke, and then you've got the lovely lighting as well, and also you've got the smells on top of that.
Yeah, we the last 2 shows we've made were concerned with perception. So how you can basically work with very simple elements, and by repeating them or playing with them in a formal way, you can change the way that people perceive us as people on stage. So this for me is another step into this research. So actually removing the sense of sight, which is the one that we mostly rely on when we are in theatre, and trying to emphasize more the sonic element through the voice and the sound that Alberto created, and also activating the smell. This is a really new thing for us. So is our first steps into this.
And as performers, is there a reason why you don't come back on at the end of the show?
we tried to on this idea of like getting lost. For us it felt like very difficult, the idea of coming back for a bow, also because we wanted to create an experience for the viewer. So us coming back, it would have been more about the relationship between us and that viewer, and we wanted to leave it more for the viewer to decide how long do they want to stay here, when do they want to leave.
I see.
Is it an experience they enjoyed or not, so without the pressure of having to clap for us if they don't want, you know, it's like
But you leave the show without any applause for your efforts and work, don't you then?
Yeah, we do. It's I don't know, this is something we are I think we'll keep trying.
And then of course there's the costumes, because you're not wearing very much in this show, are you?
Yeah.
Is there you're wearing a Man City top basically and nothing else really, are you? Let's be honest. So.
Don't give a spoiler. So.
Okay. They wear nothing. I felt sorry for the people on the front row, because when you kept coming forward like that, I thought someone was going to get a black eye in a minute now. Why nothing underneath?
Well, it does, again, is very much a transformation, and we explored that also with the costume, with the design in general, how the ideas we were working on choreographically translate to the costume, to the visuals, and so the costumes themselves, we're hoping they're having a visual effect and a transformation throughout the show. So like when we remove certain layers, it is very much, I think, doing what other elements in the work are doing as well, but in a different, so how do they complement each other? That feedback with the audience gives us information of how much the work is doing what we want it to do or not. And that's one of the beautiful things of performing.
Yes.
Like it just
It's organic.
yeah, it's kind of develops. It's different every time.
It's fabulous. I really enjoyed it. It was totally different to what I normally watch, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very lovely and immersive and just a nice, good show. Good show. Thank you very much. Thank you.